morning, Nigeria, and thank you, Bernard, for that traffic report. We do hope that you monitor some more updates on our Twitter timeline. Follow at GMN_TV, and you can follow at Ben Akedi for more tweets on traffic. Now it's time for our top story. You're very welcome to our Facebook page, facebook.com/GMN_TV, as we discuss. Now, the Naira has depreciated or fallen in the last few months much more than it has appreciated in the last 2 years. Why? And then the central bank has been doing all that they can in their powers to try and shore up the Naira, but it's not working. The truth is not working. Well, to the best of our knowledge, the people on the streets believe it's not working. You cannot withdraw from the ATM over 60,000 Naira, one they deny to have put in power. Well, let's get talking with our analyst in the house. He is a financial consultant, and he is Dr. Boniface Chizea. Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. Morning.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. Now, there's so much controversies, still tailing the CBN for what they're doing or what they are not doing, especially the man at the helm of the affairs, that is Godwin Emefiele. I'm tempted to ask, do you still hold him in high esteem? Because, you've been singing his praises ever since I met you.
Well, I think that, let's put it in context. I think that Emefiele is a challenge in the sense that if you look at the past so many governors, if you take Sanusi, who was the immediate past governor, Sanusi, over his period of 5 years, never had to face the challenge which Emefiele has faced within the past 6 months. When Sanusi was there, the oil sold for more than $100 a barrel all through this period. And so it was very easy to manage. The issue that Emefiele has encountered, and which is doing his best to counteract, is the fact that oil market, the fall in price of oil fell for over more than 60%, within the space of 6 months. And we know that Nigeria is overly, dependent on the sale of oil. So we became challenged. So you found that the reserves, were disappearing. And people out there, knowing that we are vulnerable in terms of our dependence on oil, they were waiting to see that there was certain that there would be devaluation and so on and so forth. So those who were within the system were, voting with their feet. They were taking their investments out of the country. And so we were challenged. So we had issues with trying to keep the rate of exchange intact. And when you bring in the fact that the core mandate of the central bank is to maintain financial and economic stability, then you can see why it's been challenged. And so Emefiele is doing his best, and I still stand by him.
Nice. But still maintaining and managing, our monetary affairs of Nigeria also has to do with regulation. Now, part of some of these regulation policies, it's not working because some experts believe it's not working. Now, the latest of which is this, which has led the Senate to even summon Godwin Emefiele. Now, we had, very controversial reports, hitting one another, that the CBN did put out a withdrawal policy last week. How true that is something we'd love for you to confirm, because even when we redirected to their website, there was nothing like that, and we didn't know whether it was based on a delay. Now, the imposition is this: 60,000 Naira per day limit at ATM withdrawals, while also limiting foreign currency withdrawals to $300 per day. Is that a CBN directive or not?
Well, I think that we need to, there's a separation here in the sense that I think the foreign currency withdrawal is from CBN. Since CBN is in trying to promote cashless economy, they came out with a limit that says if you're a private person that wants to go and withdraw cash from your account, you shouldn't do more than 150,000 a day.
While you're abroad?
No, whilst here.
Within Nigeria.
Yes. And to the best of my knowledge, that has not been changed. And if you're a corporate organization, corporate entity, you shouldn't withdraw more than 3 million Naira a day. It's not that you can't go beyond that. If you went beyond that, then there's a penalty. There's a penalty that's imposed. But even has said, that you shouldn't, if you're overseas, you should not go and withdraw, more than a day, $300 cash. Now, tell me overseas.
It goes beyond just withdrawing, because I was even surprised as I was seeing the fact that this now stretches as well to making online transactions. It's not just using, it's not even just using at the point of sale, using your POS. So you're now talking about withdrawing, using your POS, and using your card for online transactions. The CBN has imposed limits there as well.
Well, I think that essentially it's cash withdrawal. That's where you have the limit. If you do
No,
invisibles,
it also stretches to online transactions.
There are COTs on online.
So when I'm hearing about, we're looking at trying to encourage a cashless society, but my online transactions are also being affected, then there's a contradiction.
No, well, I think that besides being an analyst, I did some transfers, about last week. I have a daughter that schools overseas, and I sent $1,000 to her.
But this
and
is
just let me finish.
It's being in the country.
Huh?
It's as if you were in America and you want to use your
There are
card.
heavy interest rates that are
No,
taking.
the limit I know that CBN has imposed is $50,000 a year. That says, it takes cash. Cash is
a year.
Per year, $50,000
we'll
a
get
year.
into that because the truth is we have facts and we are living witnesses.
Yes.
It's not like them say word on the street. We have actually tried these transactions and we were debited. The interest rate is something that makes you want to take off your weave. But stay with us. We'll be right back after a quick dash to News Express with Victor Ororo, who is standing by for that. Now, we continue the debate here on whether or not CBN gave out those directives for the limitation on ATMs, POS, and then the huge interest rates that have been put heavily on online transactions. We still have with us Dr. Boniface Chizea, who is a financial consultant, to discuss all this and more. And before we left off, Eno was pointing out a figure.
Yeah, there seems to be an issue over whether there are limitations on how much you can spend on online transactions.
Well, I think I would say that, first of all, let me say that I have an editorial, from the Director of Communications, Ibrahim Moazo. It's clearly stated there that two figures were stated there. First of all, he didn't emphasize the fact that if you do invisibles, so if you do transactions that have to do with education, medicals, payment of bills, sundry expenses, you go to your banks and you shouldn't have any issues, having that transaction done. So you do online and then that is done. And only two figures are put there. And that's you shouldn't do cash withdrawal beyond $300 a day, and the maximum for a year at $50,000. Those are the two figures there. So any other thing you read, I think there's some element of miscommunication.
Communication is a huge part. And not to sound too biblical, but then for the people that are watching, it's like, whose report shall we believe? Yes. Because we are reading these things and we are acting upon them.
Well, sorry, please. You said $300 per day.
Cash.
Then for the Naira, what is it?
Well, Naira,
is this 60,000 or 150,000 now?
150 is not changed from what it was before.
But then, because the latter part corresponds with what these reports have. That is 60,000 Naira per day that has been imposed as a limit, and then $300, like you say. So I'm wondering where the discrepancy is coming from.
Well, I think that the banks use their own initiative, and they went ahead to put this limits. And
they can.
I know. Well, I'm not sure that they should do that because the central bank is driving this cashless policy.
I think we have to reiterate that this is when we're talking about getting physical cash.
Yes.
It's not to say that I know for a fact you can transfer $1 million Naira if you want to online into another account. So you can go into the bank and pay. Sometimes it's as little as 100 and something Naira to transfer. But of course, this is going to, no doubt about it, affect people when needing to take out cash. Which leads me to my next question. Things are tough. No one will be able to argue that. And some people, it seems it's easy to put the CBN as the devils. They're putting all these things in place to make our lives difficult. But I know you seem to be in support of the measures they're making. Is there anything that you feel the CBN is doing that you feel that you're frowning upon in terms of they might need to look into that and perhaps change?
Well, the only thing you can say is that maybe there's a bit of the reactions, the policies, the way they come out, the rapidity. And that's really a good question. So that people are saying, look, maybe if you introduce a policy, maybe you should allow it to work through and see. But then there's a panic in the land. You see that the governor has been summoned by members of the National Assembly to come and explain what's happening. And so he has a job to do. And very soon they start saying he's clueless. And it's a tough job, accepting public posts in this environment because Many people out there, they seem to know much more than you do. But you have a job to do, you're challenged to do that job, and you're doing your best to do that job. And what is very easy to criticize, particularly when it's not constructive.
Now, following the debates, in the National Assembly over probing the CBN, the Apex Bank, there's also word from Governor Adams Oshiomhole of Edo State, of course, who is heading the National Economic Council, and he's hinting at employing services of 2 audit firms to carry out the forensic on the CBN, not just the CBN, but other, parastatals as well. How do you want to react to this? Do you think it's a good step in the right direction, since we're all about anti-corruption war, we want to be on top of the game? Do you think it's a good step?
And also bearing in mind, this is KPMG and PwC, so if there's any auditing company we could perhaps rely on being able to do the job well, you can imagine why they were chosen.
Well, I think that, first of all, I've been I've made comments when the governors were consulted to go and investigate about these leakages and money is not coming into the treasury account. I was on a television program elsewhere, and I commented on the fact that they don't have that expertise in that area. And
why they need to?
Yes, so that I'm sure maybe they listened to such comments and they reacted. And I say that you don't bring governors to go and look. They are not going to do much, but they don't have the expertise. So they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the capacity, they don't have the capability. They're just going to look at the figures, inflows and outflows. And you need to do something they call forensic audit. And then I did say also that this immediate past government, let's say government, Jonathan, puts an audit firm, PricewaterhouseCoopers, to do a job. And I said, well, he's out of the place now. If you felt that, because he was there, and his aura was there, and that's psychology, and you want to protect him, so maybe the results were into what. And the people did say that some of the things they wanted to get, they didn't get it. I said, what you have to do is to reconstitute. I'm sure they listened to the comments and decided to do that. I think it's the right thing to do. We've been on this issue for a long time in terms of money is missing, from not being paid to the treasury account, and Sanusi, is quite, famous. I don't want to use the word notorious, for going from 20 to 18 to 10 and so on and so forth. So I think that is the best thing to do. We need to, I support this president, and I think that he's got sent to this country. I think that we need to, what is coming out, most of us, even analysts who have been in the public glare, we're not aware that the depth of rot, what is coming out now, it's alarming, it's staggering. And so we need to pray that it succeeds. Because if we don't clean up the system, then we're not going to make any progress in this country.
But are you confident that these 2 auditing companies will be able to use the word probe, since that's the buzzword, look into the CBN without any political influence whatsoever? I
think that the environment is most conducive, because the administration that is supposed to be indicted, is no more there. And so we have somebody that says, go and look. So nobody's going to block them. Okay. They're going to be blocked, so there's going to be, if anybody stands in the way, I'm sure that...
You don't think they're playing to the gallery as every...
No, they wouldn't. These are professional bodies, they have a reputation
to
protect. And the fear of Buhari in this land, it's working magic.
It's the beginning of wisdom, like some people say. But moving from that quickly, we have to ask you how else the CBN can actually show up the naira without breaking the hearts of the masses, the regular people who do businesses on a daily basis, and then also futuristic. Now, we do know that their future plans for the naira might be biting hard on us right now, but it might be just good for us. But then how else can they balance it by making us feel like the naira is good? I mean, we can also make these transactions on a daily basis and still futuristically make plans that will make the economy be strong.
Well, I think that we should listen to those in authority, listen to the people in the central bank. They have all the facts, more than most of us have. We come from a certain perspective and we don't have complete facts. Now, let's put it this way. The governor is on record have said that the naira is appropriately priced at the moment. And the rate of exchange...
Sorry, before you go on, how much is the naira as of yesterday?
Well, I don't know what it says. It's about 198. Official debts is about 198.
Then BDC 236.
Well, I don't know what that is, but then you see, so that government tells you is appropriately priced. Now, if you look at what it is at Bureau, not even Bureau de Change, okay, Bureau de Change and the parallel market. Now, that is a negligible market. That market does not constitute 5%. The rate of that market should not drive. Now, the concern, why people are concerned about the spread between the official and parallel market rate is that the wider the spread, the greater the temptation, the motivation to round trip. So that means you get this money, officially pretend you're going to get it officially. For instance, like President did say, if you go to the Mecca, you get it at $160, and 160 naira, $1. And what will happen is that I can pretend I'm going to Mecca, and I'll get it at 160. I just go around and go to the market and sell it. And so that's why. But if you look at it, the rate of exchange, that probably maybe 80-90% of all the transactions in this country will go through, legitimate transactions will go through. It's the one that is interbank market, which is the official market.
Some people don't believe that there's still need for the BDC. Do you agree?
Which one? That's
the Bureau de Change.
You see, Bureau de Change, when it was put in place, it was meant because you wanted to facilitate. So if, for instance, I wanted to pay some dues, membership dues overseas and so on. Yes, little sums of monies. I subscriptions overseas. I don't have to go through the bank, whereby I have to do all the processes, do all the formalities and so on. You could go there and that'd be less formality. But what's happening is that Bureau de Change has not been used, for money laundering. And that's exactly what is happening. And that's why, for instance, you find that when the ministerial account was put in place, it was put in place to encourage people, non-oil exporters, who would to give them an incentive. So you export, you earn foreign exchange. And you say, look, I don't want to put my money in Naira, I want to put it in hard currency. So that when I want to use this money, I'll have ready access. It's my money in hard currency. And that's why it's put in place. And now, when I used to say, I'm paying school fees. And at the time, when I didn't want to do from A, I'll go to Eco Hotel and buy my dollar. And come and put it.
How long ago was this?
Well, that's about a year and a half ago.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So that's even earlier than I imagined.
Yes. So I buy my foreign exchange and I put it in my Bureau de Change. I do my remittance. But I did say now that just last week I sent $1,000, and I did it. I went to a bank. I did it through MoneyGram, Western Union, and so on. And you did that also. I don't know. I think that so much hope. And
so we should just, be patient with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Yes,
and wait for this rescue plan to actually rescue us.
No matter how unhappy we are.
Yes, I think that eventually to work through, and then we should be patient.
But at the same time, it can also backfire because, as I said, with this issue of miscommunication, people will be acting upon it. Some people might feel, you know what? Let's do the old style in terms of money under the bed. Forget the banks if you want access.
Communication has to be
I hope there's a fallback plan in case Nigerians aren't so ready to accept whatever the CBN do.
Well, I think that we've moved on. I think that if you look at POS, for instance, and you look at when it was introduced, you look at the issues we had. You go and tell you there's no network.
Okay.
And so, but now you see that it's improving. We are moving on, and I think that the days of putting money under the mattress, there are lots of risks.
It's behind us. Well, we hope that this will continue. Cashless policy, the measures, stringent as they are, biting us hard, but we might have to be patient with Godwin Emefiele, the Central Bank of Nigeria's governor. But we have to move on from here to entertainment. But before entertainment, thank you so much, Dr. Boniface Chizea, for being with us to discuss all that cuts across money matters, especially with the CBN, may be probed. All right, well, moving straight to showbiz moments. Now, did you attend Shay Law's Fast and Funny concert a Sunday ago? Well, if you didn't, you will not be missing out because we have a clip for you. Take a look.
So, did you like what you just saw? I know you did. It's very simple. If you want to see more, just subscribe to our channel right now.